How clearly can you speak in English? When you talk to someone in English, can they understand you? Pronunciation is one of the things that is assessed in the IELTS speaking test. But what does good pronunciation involve? Well, it's all about communication. You don't have to sound like a native speaker, but you do need to speak clearly so that people can understand you and you can get your message across. Let's look at how you can do this successfully. In your speaking test, the examiner will be listening to your pronunciation. Let's see what this involves. Firstly, you should pay attention to how you pronounce individual sounds. For example, pear or bear. Next, you need to place stress correctly in words and sentences. For example, in the word university, the stress is on the third syllable, university. In the sentence, I teach at the University in Queensland, the stress is on these words, I teach, university, and Queensland, because these are content words. They contain meaning, so they're important. We don't usually stress little grammar words like at, the, and of. Now, what about pause? It's okay to pause between ideas. You don't need to rush, but try not to pause in the middle of an idea. Intonation is also important. It's useful for emphasizing key words. Also, if you're telling the examiner about an exciting experience, try to make this apparent in your voice. Try not to sound like a robot. It was so exciting. It was so exciting. Finally, think about speaking in chunks. By that I mean speak in phrases rather than individual words. For example, when we say fish and chips, we don't say fish and chips. We say fish and chips. Now let's see some examples of good pronunciation.
Let's talk about something different now. What do you like to do in your free time?
Okay, well, I don't have a lot of spare time at the moment because I'm quite busy with study, but when I do have time off, I like to get outside and do something active. I enjoy outdoor pursuits like hiking and camping. I love going to wild and beautiful places.
Do you think it's important for people to have hobbies?
Yes, I do. Everyone needs them. When we're working or studying, free time activities are vital for relaxation and relieving stress. Then later in life, when we retire, having interests will become crucial. Suddenly, we will have lots of leisure time, so we will need to have things we enjoy doing to stay active and enjoy our retirement.
Did you notice how the candidate pronounced the word busy? Be careful not to say busy. That first vowel sound must be short. And what about stress? The candidate used the word pursuits. Notice how the stress is on the second syllable, pursuits. She also used stress to emphasize keywords. For example, when I do have time off. Did you notice her intonation when she said vital? Her voice went up slightly to help to emphasize this key word and make it sound important. Free time activities are vital for relaxation and relieving stress. There was a nice example of chunking too, when the candidate used the phrase a lot of. She ran those words together. And finally, did you notice how the candidate paused between her ideas? You might like to watch the video again so that you can focus on these aspects of her pronunciation. Remember, when answering the examiner's questions, try to pronounce the words clearly and use the aspects of pronunciation featured in this lesson.